Hello viewers, this is Machuka Nyariego TV where we analyze the social, economic and political ways of our people, literally known as the House of Ideas. Today, I want us to focus on the politics of Muguka or Muguka politics, which has actually dominated the last 1 week after Mombasa County passed the bylaws to bar the sale of Muguka in Mombasa County, and now other counties like Kirifi, Marindi, Kware, and most parts of northeastern want to follow suit. But before we do that, I will request our viewers for the first time to kindly subscribe so that wherever we produce another episode, YouTube will automatically notify them. And for those who are our subscribers, thank you for your continued support. It is because of you that we are thriving. Back to our topic, Muguka politics. Okay, there is no much difference between Muguka and Miraa. The only difference is that one of them takes more time to mature. Miraa takes more time to mature than Muguka, and the Muguka is cheaper comparing to Miraa. These crops are dominantly grown around Mount Kenya. Muguka is predominantly grown by the Embu community or Embu County, while Miraa is grown in Meru County. I happened to do a research on Miraa sometimes back, about 2 years ago, whereby I was an assistant researcher. Then I established that whereas Miraa is grown in Meru, at least a good number of people from northeastern part have lent their shamba or their gardens whereby they grow this Miraa, meaning that it cuts across. It's not necessarily that when these products are transported from this Mount Kenya region are grown by the people of that given area. A significant question that arises now: why is it that the county of Mombasa is now or has passed rules to bar the sale of Muguka in Mombasa County? Why now? Why is it that there is conflict within the political class? That we have seen exchange of words from the CS for defense, Duale, and of course we know the CS for internal security, Kindiki, comes from the region where these crops are grown. We have also seen the Deputy President, Gachagua, given this responsibility of ensuring that illegal drugs are not sold or are not at the reach of the young people. I've not said that Muguka is an illegal drug, but the Deputy President has been given that opportunity to ensure that these illegal drugs are out of the market. And this poses another question whether Muguka is an illegal drug, because uh, the law experts say that there has not been any law in Kenya that is barring the sale of miraa or Muguka in a market. There are those others who feel that there's no much difference between Muguka and tea and coffee, because they argue that even those crops also have some chemical content in them. But what are the benefits of Muguka? Who benefits? See, the producer or the seller? Of course, from this, the producer is the beneficiary, while the consumer has got several issues. According to them, they say that Muguka gives their young people a false consciousness. It makes them feel that they are so mature. It is an opium. It is like any other painkiller that deceives the body. So for them, they are worried why this brand is being sold in their markets. Another reason as to why there is this fight of this drug now is because in the last 3 months, I had one of the members of parliament, even read from the coast, say that, or thank the deputy president on the war on drugs in the last 3 months, whereby he moved from one place to another campaigning against the drugs. Probably there was a very good fight of these drugs at the coast. Unfortunately, they found out that even if they are fighting these other drugs, this one is also a component, is an accompaniment of these other drugs. And probably this has been a campaigning tool at the coast that once we take over, we'll make sure we complete the issue of drugs among our young people, and whereby they classify these crops as drugs because they have some effects to the health of young people, especially to what I've said, that they create a false consciousness. Another reason as to why it can be, or the issue has come out now, it can be from cartels, complementary cartels. Maybe those who are selling related products feel threatened by the Muguka, which is very cheap. With the Muguka, you can buy even up to 50 shillings, which can be at the reach of young people, even children. And because the other crops are very expensive, you will find them. People have now shifted from those other drugs to Muguka, and therefore the cartels for those other drugs can influence the county governments to pass laws to deny or to outthrow the Muguka, which has become which is so cheap and is easily accessible to young people, which gives the young people false consciousness. Another reason can be because of health issues. When I listened to the Mombasa governor, his argument was that this Muguka has health effects to human. He actually was proposing if the sellers of Muguka can change the product with things like peremende, which do not have effect to the people. This brings me next to a question, or this brings about a big question on politics, the relationship between politics and the Muguka. As I said earlier, there is no much difference between Muguka and the Miraa. And these are the crops which are dominantly in Rift Valley. If I go back home around the year 2007, there was only 2 brands of Miraa, and which were being consumed by officers. 2 officers, you might know, they could, in the entire constituency we had 2 brands because it was well known by those officers. I knew that because the officers could ask me for, or they could call me and ask me for a motorbike so that they could go to that village and pick the Miraa. But now in this situation, Miraa is dominant everywhere. It is an economic activity. It is supporting the people of the area. But on the other side, it has brought some effects, health effects, according to the governor of Mombasa. In politics now, even before we went for the 2022 elections, Miraa was banned to be sold in some areas, Somalia, some areas like the United Kingdom, if I remember. So the politicians promised that once we take over, we will ensure that we negotiate with the relevant authorities and you will be able to sell the Miraa to those areas. This brings me to first the root of question. What is the president stand on the Miraa? In the last few days, it was argued that, or the governors, one of the governors said that the president had reached on them so that they could negotiate on the same, whether they can do away with the payrolls and the people of Mount Kenya continue selling their Muguka. The same week, the CS for Defense questioned the deputy president whether he was applying double standards on fighting the drugs. Remember, the CS for Defense, Aden Duale, comes from a place which is dominantly consumers of Miraa. So he knows very well the effects of miraa. And therefore, he was questioning the deputy president, why is it that you are fighting other drugs and leaving out this Muguka? This affirms the earlier on allegations that were put forward by the Mombasa governor that is not only going to mobilize the people of, or the governors or the county governments of the coast, but also the northeastern, to ensure that the sale of Muguka does not see the right. And then the CS for internal security, Kithure Kindiki, is left in an awkward situation. What should he do? Because this product comes from around his home area. It is an economic activity, and the sellers of these products are big cartels. Most of them are like men of wealth in that region. So touching them is like fighting them. Fighting is foods, because politicians normally compare policies and their foods, and that's why in most cases they make irrational choices. So Kindiki is left in an awkward situation because he's an internal security, his people are the producers, while the defense minister Aden Duale is also left in an awkward situation because his people are the consumers. They are predominantly consumers, and they feel that their lives are being threatened, and therefore it does not directly tell the internal security that these bylaws should be implemented, but is now throwing his words, probably because of the cold relationship between the president and regarding Gachagua. So he's now facing Gachagua and asking him, why is it that you are applying the law selectively? Is Muguka not a drug? Then next we have the society. The society, religion have as well been also been involved in the campaign. We have the society from where these crops are grown. The society from where these crops are grown argue that the crops or the plant has no effect. It is only that those who use it in an irresponsible manner, while the society to where the crop is sold argue that the crop or the drug has made their children to be unreasonable, to be addicted, to be influenced to other drugs, to have sleepless nights. So there is that debate within the community and the community, political class, producers, sellers, consumers, and many others. So what is the way forward? Because the Mombasa issue is not the first thing. Mombasa County has not been the first community to ban or to illegalize these products. This calls for legislatures to look for a better way forward. Members of parliament, the county governments of those two counties should sit together and look for the way forward. Probably they can introduce slowly another crop so that these people are not affected economically. They can introduce tea, coffee, instead of living in denial. Maybe after Mombasa, the next group will be the people from the community complaining of the same people complaining of the crops. What are the scientific effects of the plant, the Muguka? What has been established when the president meets with the coast governors? What are they going to discuss? Will they first have scientific evidence defining the contents of the Muguka? What if they find that there is no effect? Will the coast, will the Mombasa governments, the coast governments, relook at their laws? What if they find that the content in the plant is dangerous to human health? Will they fight the crop? How do they call it? Is it a plant? Is it a juice? Is it a drug? So there are many questions surrounding the Muguka and the health effects to the people. Is it true that the people are affected to not sleep at all when they take these products? And what are the effects of not sleeping? Or it is just not sleeping? Who should be consuming it if they have the not sleeping effects? Where should it be allowed to be grown? Who should be the consumers? At what time should it be consumed? How will it be regulated? Are there laws regulating the sale of it? What are the safety standards? So those are some of the questions that they need to answer, because it is very important to prevent something than to cure. Preventing is much cheaper than curing. This one will also put the fight against illicit brew or will jeopardize the fight against illicit brew, because those fighting the CS Kindiki and the deputy president will be told, how can you simply fight alcohol and you can not fight this drug that we have seen it have effects to our young people? Are you applying double standards? Of course, already that has been shown. by the CS Duale, who is saying that there are double standards being applied in fighting against illicit alcohol and drugs or drug substances. I think it's a debate that all of us will watch as it unfolds. Thank you and have a pleasant evening.